All right, welcome back to part two redo of something's wrong with my recording, pressing buttons to make things work. We're doing more on the Sea Pacific Theater mod as I always do, and this is part 230. Now let me explain. The game, or my microphone, or my settings, or just my stupid fingers, when I hit record, the microphone was not accessed. That being said, let's make sure this thing is moving. It is. We went an hour and a half, and I'm going to sit here for an hour and a half and talk you through what took place. I might abbreviate a little bit. I apologize. Let's just say that. I'm sorry. But there are two options to do this. The one option is to go back to the previous save and do the whole day over again. I've done that before, and that's painful because two things happen. First thing, it's not the same twice. I don't know why. It just is. And secondly, I don't really know how to explain. I know I would be aggravated going through it again. I'm aggravated enough as it is that I spent an hour and a half doing this video, and now I have to do this so that you guys can see what took place. I guess the option is I could just not do the video and then do a different 230 and skip those 5 days or whatever in game and just pick up wherever I left off and do a recap. I could do that. I'll probably do a little edit ad hoc, and I could not put out a video today and just talk about this in 231 or the new 230 and explain what happened and why you guys didn't see anything that happened in the previous video. Or I could do this, which is show the video in the background and me talk over it, and you guys can kind of follow along as I do and talk about what's happening. So what am I doing? Okay, so in this part of the video, what I'm doing is I'm trying to remember, part of the game here is we're trying to level up our bases for command point purposes only, not for defense, because a lot of the bases are so out of danger. There's really not much that would happen, and there's a defense force by every base. So if something did try to come to us, we'd be safe. There's no large ships in the enemy anymore. They have carriers, but they have not been seen. I don't know where the hell they are. So, for example, Cebu, we are actually trying to level that up airfield-wise, I believe. So we're having these individual supply runs for each port, Cebu being this one in particular. Run back and forth to that base. So they go back to Midway or Wake, and they pick up some supplies. And I'm kind of probably talking about, we want this port to be leveled up, or what's our new location. Manila is the new location for invasion. So we want to actually take that location. As you see, Manila is... that's Cebu that we're taking stuff off of right now. But Manila is still smoking. So, in fact, I've already just decided we're not going to watch every second of this video. I'll probably condense a little bit. But as you see, we're trying to organize, get Manila covered, and what's the best way to get there. You can't go through that little strait right there. It says you can, but you can't. So, okay, we'll go on the outside. We do a couple new fleets in this group. I'm explaining we want to get up to a level 5 airfield here just because we're only doing 3 port and 5 airfield, and we want to do that as many places as we possibly can. See if we can maximize the number of weekly command points we can get, and that's the thing in question that we do in this video. Now, up by Midway, you see these groups. Yellow Sea, you're going to go and do that's just a random fleet I put together. And you're going to go up to that area and, do a thing. Poke the bear, as I like to say. You go in dangerous waters, and they send out 50, 60 aircraft at you. These guys will go up with full cap. Hopefully they'll be able to protect themselves. But that's the goal. That's what we're doing. These ships here, they slow down the whole fleet, so that's something to consider. As you see, we're utilizing as many of our large ships as possible. Battleships and cruisers, and so there's 2 battleships in this group with the new Yorktown. We should probably think about having the older, Yorktown, Saratoga utilized somewhere. I think they are utilized, but that location is going to be the next place we invade, and that's going to come from Manila. We're going to be Manila going that way. As you see, Manila's a little broken. We're waiting for that red to go away before we implement higher airfields. I'd like to get more supplies over there so that we can maximize and not damage the troops. We're going to be put troops on these supply ships so that we can take some of the balance away. In other words, take the 37 967 troops and put them on cargo ships in port. We'll call these guys injured or guys that just need a break and from the long battle. And then we'll put our destroyers with other troops as well. The goal is, if the balance is better, we don't deplete supplies as quickly. So that's why I'm doing that. Let's do a skip here. So here I am. I'm coordinating unloading at using the New Guinea supply, or Guyana, or whatever it's called. We've upgraded to rank 3 airfield. We're showing that we got 197 total command points. 200 is the next mark that we want to see. And we do have a lot of command points, and that's fine. But yeah, we're kind of... I'm explaining why I want to do that. Why do we want to have a 5 and a 3 like that in Peleliu all over the map? It's to maximize everything we can possibly maximize. Some of these locations, the airfields don't work. Some of them do, but are so far out of necessary, we're not really going to focus on them. So we're focusing on the northwest of the map, if you will, and we'll do the best we can and see if we can achieve that. Now, as you see, there's a gap in that. We probably want to get a carrier in that group, just to make things fancier, I guess. Utilize the ships you have. Sure, I'd like to have every ship in the availability column. I want to put a carrier. That's what I'm saying. So we're going to say no. Go to Midway to get your carrier. The 4 groups up by Midway, those are. Remember, we separated supply ships and oilers out of all the Iwo Jima or Okinawa invasion forces. Well, that's what those remaining are. We sent them over there so that they could be If they had a bogue as a light carrier, we want to give them a Casablanca. If there's any damages to any of the ships, even a ding, we're going to send them in for repair. And then when we have the stripped supply group, the ships that came out of those, we're going to try and form them back together into the formation supply groups that we want. So again, we're trying to keep track of that, of all these numbers. Let's see if we can advance a little bit further into the game. I'm explaining about how to have reoccurring cap that happens every day so that you don't have to, we know that with the reoccurring button, when you set up an airfield or carrier aircraft over your fleet, if you hit the reoccurring button, it only works for that one day, it's 12 hours of time. But if you do this little pattern in course and hit the reoccurring button, I've found that actually carries over to the next day. So at 1900, when the flight, when flying no longer takes place, in the morning, 05, they'll automatically launch and stay in a pattern right over the ship like I did there in yellow by using the course button. And the reoccurring will make it carry over to the next day. Whereas it doesn't work in the other way. So that little pattern there, that aircraft group will do that until I tell it to stop. So we see down here 55 command points. Those are the carriers that needed their aircraft back, and they've come back out of the dockyard. I'm sending up some more aircraft in a southerly pattern so that they can cover the other side of the group. And these patterns that I'm making are just, I'm looking at the nautical mile range, so 116 per se, and then they'll land and go up again. So they'll keep doing that. And you can do that with multiple groups, and then they're going to go on their way to do their thing. So let's carry on. We are looking at the number of ships. And I was hoping that there would be a number, like you have 200 ships on the map. It doesn't do that. It just gives you a list of all the fleets. As you see here, the fleets that they're in. Hong Kong Defense Force, individuals, Truant, K8, S4. So that just kind of shows what the ships you have out. It doesn't tell you how many there are, which I wish it did. So you could say I have, how many ships are in the game? How many can you put up? I don't know. You'd have to count them individually. This would be a great example to say this is how many you have currently in the game. Yeah, nothing in the dockyard. We saw those carriers get released. So now we come back over here. And this is where I explain the Okinawa splits. So these ships are what was remaining of the split I took when I took out the oilers and some of the supply ships to go to another location because they were just sitting in port doing nothing. Again, I've been talking for over an hour and a half, and this is another 15 minutes so far into the second video. So I'm coordinating these to get back into proper fleets, and I do struggle a little bit with it. Again, we have to put a carrier and whatever's missing into these other ones, just because that's what I want to do. And what do I want to put in there? I believe I want to put in Casablancas. So the bow gives 16 F4s, and the Casablancas have 18 F6Fs. So that's why we want to go up to the Casablanca. Might as well modernize while we can, and then we'll put these ships in these supply groups. So again, missing an oiler and a carrier. So that's what we're going to do next. So that's what's happening there. Let's move on. Talked about that for the... So we have Iwo Jima Defense Force here. I think what I'm looking at is, you know, these older carriers that we still have in main fleets, and then we have the, you know, these carriers here. They have F4Fs, and the next series of carriers has a F8Fs or F6Fs. So when do we want to do that, and how? So I'm looking to see what's the next ship type out there. 8 May 1944 longbow. And longbow is Hellcats and Helldivers, which is what I want to have in the game. This is what we have now in the Essex. F4Fs. So much slower aircraft. Yeah, we're waiting on the longbow. And that's going to be a little while. And then we'll replace some of the other ships, carrier-wise. Excuse me. Still have a little tickle in my throat from the cold, but I'm over the cold now. It's just kind of still lingering a bit. Yeah, sorry I don't have any sound for you in the game sound or any of that. It didn't record the sound. I don't know why. I did everything the same as I do always, but I don't know. Sometimes my computer decides who's boss, not me. So the Essex is a great carrier, but we want a longbow, and even the next carriers after that. And we want to, when we get them, we're going to use them all. I'm not afraid to put every single ship on this map that is available to be used. The only ones that we may not use are the ones that, you know, there's, I think a Fletcher has 175 ship names in the game. We may not use those. All of them, anyway. But we're going to use as many as we can. We're going to stick to... We're not putting, the original Yorktown with 6 Fletcher or 9 Fletcher's destroyers. So we're going to try and even it out the best we can. And keep that going. So... let's see what else we can find. We're still playing Oilers in supply groups. And, yeah, I spent a lot of time on that. So here we are. We have a supply group. And, yeah, I'm trying to get B-25s, SBDs, and Catalinas in the game. So Mitchells, Dauntlesses, and Catalinas. So we had 9 Catalinas coming in from the side. And these guys, yeah, they're not going to have a good day. It's a pretty fun thing. One of the things I found out with the... next time we get the Mitchells on the screen, I'll be able to confirm it. Is whether or not I believe I tried to put torpedoes on the Mitchells. I don't think we're going to be able to see it. Yeah, we're not. Oh well. Well, we'll be able to look down here at the torpedo icon to see if the Mitchells actually have a torpedo icon there. So there's 6 ships. Not really anything dangerous at all, to be honest with you. The goal here was to set off PBYs for the straight column supply ships. I'm looking at these and I'm saying which ones are dangerous and which ones aren't. See, we're going to attack from 3 different directions here. We're sending down the PBYs on the deck and the B-25s as well. Next thing, we're going to assign targets to the... yeah, I don't know. Maybe I misclicked, but I set the B-25s with depth charges that do nothing for surface aircraft. You would think they would still, but they don't. So I send the PBYs in the most accurate way I can. I just assign them in order. So the lead PBYs go after number 2, the one in the middle goes for number 3, and the one trailing goes for number 4. The B-25s are going to go for number 1. And again, you'll see on the wings they have depth charges. But I don't know why I would have selected depth charges. I think I tried to select torpedoes. So maybe we got to test them again. But I don't think torpedoes make much sense on a B-25 anyway. Depth charges maybe, but torpedoes not so much. But who knows? I'm sorry. So you see the depth charges on the wings, and they're going to make a nice big splash, but they're not going to do anything. Hey, this is one way to have the sound not be out of order, right? You're not going to hear any explosions. I'll just go boom when they go boom. So this spread is kind of off, if you ask me. You'd like them to go in a proper VIC or at least target. This guy's going towards the back end of the ship. And I think he tries to turn in a little bit to the left, but I don't think he does. The right side won't do their thing. So they do release, not really appropriately. They go over. Boom! Okay, there's my boom. And we actually get one shot down, this one here. He gets shot down by one of the other guys. And I am showing that no damage took place. You would think they would have some kind of damage, but no. So we didn't lose a aircraft yet, but we will. We're pulling these guys back up. And send them in. So now we're sending in the SBDs. I'm going to leave 2 groups in reserve to see if there's anything else that's out there that is damaged but not sinking. And we just send them in. You know, with this mod, there's no altitude requirement, and I'm turning these Group 31 and Group 34 in circles so that they stay out of harm's way, and we'll send them in later if need be. So the Catalinas are next to come in. I think I'm going to send the Mitchells after their initial target so that they can go and have some fun. I'm reacquiring their targets. Some of these I don't put in VIC, as you see. I wanted to for the other 2, but I just didn't. I'm waiting for that guy to go to the far left, and he's there, so I hit attack. I didn't do that with the other groups. As you see, the dive bombers are coming in, and they're making some good hits. They're not very accurate. You see that lead guy just totally whiffed. The other two hit. I think there's one or two hits. We're talking out of 9 bombs on these dive bombers. They have a center line and 2 bombs, one on each wing. They're smaller, but yeah, they rarely ever hit. As you see, we have we're gonna get a loss here, I think. Yeah, there we go. One's lost there. These guys are slow and big. Torpedoes are coming in, and we'll see if they hit. That guy got a hit. So the other guy, this guy got 2, and he's going to avoid the others. He almost turns in enough to hit, but no. So he's going to be done anyway. So again, we're back to a bunch of ships on fire. All our torpedoes have been launched. 5 and 6. 5 didn't have much happen to him at all. B-25s, we're going to use them to do some strafing and have them go after. I changed my mind midway through, and I'm looking to see which ships need to get hit, 5 and then 6. So we're going to go 5 at first, but then, hey, guess what? I always change my mind, don't I? We're going to slow down so we get most rounds on target. Go down to the deck, head in the direction of the target. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's actual footage during the war of B-25s actually doing strafing runs, as well as A-20s, which there are in the game, but they're not. I don't know where they are. They're mostly, I think, in the Australian bases. But I like that aircraft as well. Having those guns out front in the nose is pretty impressive. These guys aren't nothing to be slouching about. They're pretty good. So when you hit the attack button, aircraft usually go up to a certain altitude. You see the altitude here is 256 feet. That's not something that I established. It's just what they do. Now we have them on 5, and I'm saying, we're going to go right over 6. We might as well attack. So I'm sending SBDs in. I'm looking at who's hurt and who's not. So I'm going to say, let's send the Mitchells. And this guy is just sitting there, so we can attack him first, and we're going to do that. I think because I'm seeing the Dauntlesses still in their circle mode, I decide to attack with the Mitchells, and we're going to send them after 6 first. And I think we're going to send in the SPDs right after that. Yeah, I'm contemplating, who's hurt worse and who's not. 5 needs to get more damage. Excuse me. So the Mitchells are going in. And you see we're lined up with 6 first. That's the one smoking right ahead of us. And then in the back, you see the more undamaged ship, or the actually more damaged ship, is steaming away from us. Talking about the guns, Ford armament. They got, I think, 6 50 cals, 2 in the nose. That's not. I think that one is a anti-aircraft, fighter gun. Enemy fighters. The nose guy would man that gun, I think, for head-on engagements. And here we are attacking this guy. As soon as you pass, we're going to lose an aircraft here, I believe. Explosion really means bad things for the ship. I'm reacquiring to attack number 5 now. There are some bad things that can happen if you do this at the wrong time. As you see, we've lost a PBY, and we've just lost our lead, which is fine. We'll get him back the next day. He'll be replenished. But you see, we got 2 of these guys remaining. They did their job by attacking both. 6 is sunk, 5 is remaining, and now we're sending in the SPDs. And I think he sinks before they get there. I kind of wanted to be able to have the capability of setting the altitude for these guys like you do in other mods. Other mods that played this same Pacific Theater mod, you have to set the SPDs to 7,000. They go up and then they do a very steep dive. This one is more like a glide slope dive. So we got rid of that fleet. Let's return the ships or the aircraft to their proper locations. Successful engagement. And yeah, those guys have done a good job. Let's move on. What else we got going on? We're building. We're running our supplies back to Midway and Wake. It's pretty common. These guys are. I'm talking about setting up scouts. I already talked about that before, but we're going to do it again here. I'm just talking about reoccurring button right there. Makes them come back the next day. Whereas the octagon pattern thing does it just for that day and just for that spot. It doesn't, if you have the ship moving, that thing doesn't follow you. They'll go once and that's it. So it's one of those things that you learn as you go. We have another group here. This time we decide we're going to use the fleet to attack them. But to do that, we got to get close. And unfortunately in this game, even though we're a very fast fleet, this guy's got nothing on him, so we're going to ignore that. It's 6 ships. I'm showing you how we identify the location so we can mark direction. Ignore so that the liberators go on their way. We're going to set that for where they're going. And we see they're heading southwest. So we're going to course over there to try and meet them. We're quite a distance away. And as we do this, they do reappear right there. And then we adjust to get closer. And the problem is that when the no-call engagement encounter happens, we're too far away. We have to go in, yet we're too far away from the ships. You'll see the goal I want to do is send my lead destroyers after them. And these ships, I kind of wanted to do a torpedo run or something. We had one of our viewers recommend, hey, can you do a torpedo run with destroyers on these supply ships? And yeah, you can, but right now we're 33,000 yards away. And the time it would take for those ships to get there, these 3, the Phelps, the Fletcher, and the Clark, they would probably be off the map already, as you see. Sorry. I'm having a difficulty getting the Fletcher, the Clark, and the Phelps together, so I have to move them next to each other. I'm trying to do it. It's not working. I'm just doing something wrong. I think it's control, shift control to be able to select but you can also just move them up and put them next to each other and then fleet them up that way. So we're going to go to 3-column, form up, and then they decide to do all sorts of crazy stuff. And it just gets a little bit much. See how close they are to the edge of the radar? That means that for us to get close, we have to cut it in half, 17,000 yards, I think, for our guns to use. But if we want, initially we wanted to use torpedoes, but that's not working. So I decided to send over to keep them in range. I want the Kingfishers to go over and scout above them. So I'm sending 4 Kingfishers in that direction. And what happens is that they turn towards the end of the engagement. They're trying to escape, and we're too far away. And the funny thing is about this is that this Fletcher group, they're going directly to where they are, which is fine. And then we have 2 through 10, Intrepid, Essex, Wilkes, Missouri, Iowa, Savannah, and Birmingham. They do something totally weird. You would think that they would just stay going straight. No, they don't do that. They do something that's totally, I don't know why. We'll see that later. So they're going in and out of radar. And as you see, the middle destroyer, which you can see at the smaller, in the middle ship, the 2 destroyers are coming in. Now what they will do is they will try and switch sides, I believe. But it's just, I realize at this time that they are 33,000 yards away. And at top speed, I don't think we can get to them before they reach the edge of the map or the encounter zone, which is that radar's circle there. So I decide, okay, enough playing. Let's get our aircraft involved. The goal was to slow them down, and we could still go in and finish them with our destroyers. But that's not really going to happen. What's going to happen is, well, they sink them. It just is what it is. You know, you try to do something that's fun and exciting and stuff, and it just didn't work. So, whatever. These guys are heading that direction. That's fine. And I think we'll see here, I'm assigning 1 destroyer per each ship. And I don't have attack on because they're not even in range. But you see, we're now at 29,000 yards. Still far away. Our Kingfishers are coming in. These guys have really no... I'm identifying the ships just to identify purposes' sake. And, yeah, I'll walk you through that again like I've done 1,000 times in this playthrough series. As you see, the F4Fs are coming in. And, which is fine. I also put the Kingfishers at higher altitude. They were originally at like 2,500 feet. And I put them up to like 6,000 or 8,000 feet. I think they will see that here. 3280. And they go up to 74 or whatever. Decide whether or not to use speed, and it's not a big deal. So we just put them up so that they'll be safe and not be shot down. That guy's a little bit higher. Yeah. That's fine. I'm just talking about we don't want to lose our Kingfishers. We love the Kingfisher. So these guys are starting to do maneuvers because of the incoming aircraft. And ideally, they would go off in 3 different directions towards the border, away from the enemy. But instead, they turn, slowing down their distance when they should just be hauling straight towards the border. But you look and you see all these ships. They all go off in crazy directions. I didn't give them any orders to do that. They just did that on their own. So I'm sending off groups of 8 3 groups of 8, and I'm sending each group off to fight a separate ship to do a strafing run. And I do this as they're basically over the ships. You see gunfire coming up. I want them to be around 200. I don't want them to be going crazy fast. That one I didn't adjust. Didn't adjust that one either. So one group's going at 200 and the other 2 are going at 214. You want to have as much lead on target as you can. They're circling to get down to the deck so that they can do their strafing runs. As we see them come in. Just trying to give you a cinematic shot at the attack. You know, is what it is. So they like to kill the fish before they hit the ship, which is a thing. Explosions mean damage. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I know. Delays. So that guy's toast. Big old sparks like that mean major explosion in the ship. Fires could mean fuel. So we see critical on 2 of the ships and moderate, minor on 1. So they're starting to sink pretty quick. I'm slowing them down so they can attack the last ship. And I'm trying to wait for the speed to go down so that they can attack at a better angle. And I think he sinks before that even happens. And just look at the mess of the ships in the mini-map. They just decided to run in all crazy directions. I got to have a conference call with those captains and tell them that in groups they're they're safer. Excuse me. So we say we're going to follow this guy in, but I don't think it matters. I think he sinks before we get there. I could be wrong. So as you see on the recording, it shows the recording now over the game recording. 43 minutes, and we were 1:06 into the actual recording that I did. So we're getting through it pretty quick. See if they get any shots off at this ship. I have a feeling he'll sink before we get there, but so we're going in. If they pull up beforehand, it means he's sunk already. And we lost 2 fighters in that last engagement. And some damage as well. That's okay. So that's all 3 ships down in that group. Well done. So Manila is still got partially red. We need Manila to be all good before we go invade another port. So what we're coordinating here is I'm coordinating ships. I'm renaming them. They're no longer going to be Manila Invasion. They're just going to be Invasion. And I'm giving them numbers instead of locations. Here we are building another fleet, which is going to be pretty heavy. Light cruisers, Clevelands. We have some, we're doing a 3 column, so it's going to be 3 destroyers, one large carrier or light carrier, and the rest will be just big ships. We're just using up what we have. So CLs and CAs, and I think we throw in a battleship at the end. So again, if they're available, we're going to use them. So CVL, no longer going with the Bogue. I like the Independence class. Served on the Independence, a ship's company, not this one, CV62. So just the name in itself and a carrier, I like this guy, and that's why we're using him. And then we're going to throw in whatever ships we can that will just have some bigger muscle. And I'm looking through and seeing if we have any available. And we don't have any standard battleships, so I go to battleship. And Washington's there. Let's use her. What else we got? I know we've used all those. New Hampshire. She's rather new. Montana class. I kind of want to use her for something else, so I don't think I'm going to use that. So I decided to go back and just grab another cruiser. And sure, why not? So that's going to be the new Sea. Pretty heavy hitter. She can protect herself, but I think we're not going overkill by putting 2 carriers in her. And overall, she's going to be a defense force. I know that sounds strange, but it is what it is. That's what's going to happen. And I play around with getting them in order and stuff like that, so I don't want to show that. Yeah, we just move them around. This guy found supply groups here, so we're giving him a box so that he can actually take care of that. What else we got going on? Taffy 3 is going on another death sentence. We're putting them in the radar zone this time. And this time, I expect we'll have some problems. As you see, by Formosa and Okinawa, both of these groups are going to go up, and they're going to have a hell of a time. I decide to max out the air cover. I don't think it will matter much, but we want to make sure that our air cover is at its best. I don't like throwing ships away for entertainment purposes, but I kind of would like them to have some engagement and not just, oh my God, we lost every ship because you're not playing the game smart. We're sticking with the course redo. In other words, reoccurring direction. I'm going through the light carriers and picking out the groups that have, in theory, we'll say, transported their aircraft and then picked up from another location. Damaged aircraft that get repaired on the ships. Maybe they didn't do that, but okay. We got to kind of role play a little bit. But we'll say they dropped off their ships in Manila and their aircraft in Manila and then picked up others and have been given orders to go and do something very stupid. So this is the new fleet that we made, and yeah, it's a good fleet. I like it. I think it's kind of neat. It's going to be it's pretty powerful, if you ask me. Our traditional outro is I find a fleet, go to it for cinematic purposes, and watch them drive by us. And yeah, I apologize. I don't know how. I call it intermittent because I looked at my microphone. My microphone is all green. Lights being green meaning on, and after the video, I played it to check for sound, and it didn't have any sound from my microphone or the audio of the game. It was just silent. I rebooted my computer and then did a couple test recordings. The first one I did came up no volume, no recording, just recording of the screen. And then I went into the software that I use, and it's just the Adrenaline software that came with my CPU or GPU, I don't know which, but it's what I use to record these videos with. And everything looked fine. So I got out of it, and I went in and did another test, and it worked. So I don't know what I did that was wrong. I don't know. Yeah. It just, it's a little frustrating. But this one works. It takes me another hour. I've been recording for almost an hour now to give you this video. I don't know if you like it. If you say don't bother doing this, leave me a comment and tell me. If you had a problem with the recording, just go ahead and carry on and give us whatever you get in the next video. The problem with that is I know I'll get one person that will say, what do you mean? You skipped something. You did some off gameplay, because we're not seeing all of it. So, yeah, it's more along the lines of I feel I'm trying to give you guys an authentic experience. And when this kind of thing happens, it's on me totally. And I'm sorry for that. I'm not saying I'm good at this stuff. I'm not saying I'm whatever. I'm just, it's been a long haul, and I'm trying to give you a good product and something that's somewhat entertaining. And these little things happen from time to time. I don't know why, but they do. I'm sure it's me. I'm sure it's something I do. I didn't hit Control, Shift, and E at the exact same time so that the recording gets made. If you see this, it means that everything got fixed, and I don't know how I fixed it. If you don't see this, it means, well, you won't see it, because the next video I do is not going to be from this save. We'll just take this save and throw it in the dumpster. But, yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoy my videos, I guess. Yeah, I do this because I like the ships of yesteryear, if you will. I like to reminisce about what it would have been like to be at this time frame in life, in the world. How bad, how good, how memories are made. There's something to be said about the people that participated in World War II. I'm thinking of the regular people, the people that just participated because they felt a sense of duty and honor to do so. I'm not talking about... Yeah, I should just end this video, right? But I keep talking. I'm not talking about the heroes. I'm talking about the people that participated. And that could be people that swabbed the deck, people that maintained the ships, that fixed the aircraft, that trained individuals, that fought fires, that painted bulkheads, that were the grimy guys in the bowels of the ships. Not just the fighter pilots, not just the bomber pilots, not just the heroes that we all hear and know about. There are many others, and majority of these people don't get talked about enough in this world. The people that participated in general don't get talked about enough. It's almost like if you didn't serve on a ship during a large battle, or you didn't serve on a ship that sunk, then your opinion or whatever is not valid. So that's just the thing. every single person that participated and gave their time, years of their lives away to fight in these battles, I commend. And I think we should remember them. So with that, I'm going to end it here. And thank you for watching. I'm sorry what took place, and hopefully we can prevent it from happening again. See you in the next one.